Alright, so we're really hyped. We're off onto one of our longest holidays ever. We're off for 3 weeks. Singapore, Phuket, and Mumbai. Let's go! So after a really long journey with the baby and getting over the initial jet lag, we were really excited to see what Singapore was all about. And in this video we're going to go through a short itinerary of the things that we decided to do while we were there. So before we head over to our itinerary, it's worth mentioning our hotel. We stayed at the Pan Pacific Orchid because it was voted as the best new skyscraper in the world. This is because of the amount of greenery and courtyards it has compared to the actual building of the development. And it's really cool to walk around the hotel, the swimming pool areas and the different walkways they have with all the greenery. Also, the rooms are pretty decent as well, although remember the window of the rooms look out onto these courtyards, so you cannot, like me, just walk around in your boxers. Okay, so the main action plan for today is to see Marina Bay Sands and the Merlion at night. So we are battling with jet lag, but our little one here, she's awake now, so hopefully she'll stick around for the lights. So the shopping centre is quite lively, and we were there when they had the Christmas decorations up. Also, as you explore, there's actually quite a lot of activities for kids, especially this really large screen on the floor which was interactive and good fun. And then as the sun sets, the area outside becomes quite lively and you get to see the whole skyline at night. And obviously the main attraction of this whole area is the fountain show. Unfortunately, we couldn't fit the Merlion on this day because there was so much to do in Marina Bay Sands itself. So that's for another day. The gardens by the bay are really nice to walk around, and you can see the trees and the back of the Marina Bay Sands hotel. There's also lots of little attractions to see, and these are the ones we visited. So the cloud forest is exactly what it says on the tin. It's like a forest in the clouds, and they do this by releasing this mist every couple of hours or so. So it's quite nice to walk around. They have rare plants there, but we weren't really too interested in the plants. It's mainly the walkways, and especially as you go up onto one of the higher walkways, the elevated walkways as I should say, you get a nice view of the skyline and the Marina Bay Sands. And you can also look down onto the cloud forest and the waterfall, and it gives you a really nice perspective like this. A bonus at Cloud Forest is this indoor sensory experience where you've got this light show and this indoor interactive screen area where you can interact with the water and the fish and the plants. Singapore is starting to build a theme of screens and greenery. Now, I didn't actually go to the Flower Dome, but it's just next door to the Cloud Forest, and it's just another indoor attraction with lots of plants, which my wife and daughter really enjoyed. So if you come on top of the trees, you get this really cool view. And this light show that happens every evening, which lights up all these trees to like a Disney theme, is quite nice. However, we noticed one thing: it's better to go on the walkway as opposed to on top of the trees, because then you get the best of both worlds, the skyline scenery and the light show. As we were out walking at night in the city, it really became apparent what Singapore was all about. For instance, we thought walking through the subway would be quite scary with criminals and druggists, but actually there were teenagers and kids breakdancing and cycling, which was a really pleasant surprise. And as we walked around the bay, we ended up at the Merlion, which against the Marina Bay Sands hotel looked exactly like the desktop wallpaper I used to have on my screen a few years ago. So our arrival onto Sentosa Island was rather wet and rainy. However, this soon cleared, which is quite typical in Singapore, and we were able to explore the island. Now we decided to spend the last few days in Singapore on the island itself, in a hotel called the Village Hotel. And this was mainly because we thought there's probably enough to see on Sentosa Island that you don't really want to be commuting back and forth from the mainland. And it really was worth it. The main attraction that we saw was the Sentosa Sensoryscape, which is a whole line of lights and exhibitions that illuminate at night. And it's great when you have a little one who is stimulated by almost everything. Not to mention, Sentosa Island does have a rather buzzing nightlife. Another thing that you can do on Sentosa Island is take the cable car, and you can explore not only the island itself but make your way to the mainland. So we actually got on in the wrong direction. Obviously the views are great, so it's not a bad thing. So we actually ended up at Siloso Beach. So we spent about 5 minutes there, and then we got back onto the cable car to make our way towards the mainland. And the views along the way are pretty cool. You get to see the whole of Singapore pretty much, and it's just a nice scenic ride. And we ended up at Mount Faber Peak, which is on the mainland, and from here you can get some really nice views of the city. It's just worth mentioning our hotel on Sentosa Island. We stayed in the Village Hotel, mainly because it has a really large swimming pool and water feature area. There's lots of activities for kids, especially with the different fountains and the water jets. You can easily spend a day here. And before you know it, it's time to leave. Generally, Singapore was quite nice. We loved mainly the greenery and the architecture, and I always wanted to see the Marina Bay Sands, so that was pretty cool to see. The airport itself is quite nice, and we were gutted that we missed Jewel Changi. There were some hints of greenery and some really cool screens, as always in Singapore, just as you go through departures. However, there's always something to come back for, and seeing Jewel Changi will be next on our list. So we hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.